autumn comes here as well, and we're now on our way to the house of George Sand, who's actually a woman, a writer, famous. First we will go to my favourite patisserie, the baker's boulangerie. C'est très bien ça. Bonjour. C'est ma favorite, le millefeuille.
C'est votre... Vous les avez comptés ou pas? Alors, noix, amandes, confiture de framboise.
We are in the famous village of George Sand called Nohant, where you can find her house, a wonderful house where she came when she was a married lady, you know, after perhaps she left her husband. And she had plenty of artists coming in this wonderful house, cooking, singing, and the famous pianist Chopin, and you had excellent writer Honoré de Balzac, and plenty others of artists of this century. So now you can visit inside. First we have on the right the chapel, and after you have the house, this wonderful house with plenty of good souvenirs about, remembers about George Sand.
The house of George Sand. Roi Dupin, Paris, 1804, Nohant, 1876, was brought up in Nohant by her grandmother. She had 2 children from her brief marriage, to Baron Dudevant. The woman who soon took the name George Sand chose to live her life as a free woman. George Sand wrote continuously from 1830 to 1876, novels, tales, short stories, plays, critical and political articles, autobiographical pieces and correspondence. George Sand became involved in political action from 1835. She fought both for social progress, equality between men and women, and for her own freedom. This political commitment grew stronger in the 1840s and at the time of the 1848 revolution. For George Sand, Nohant represented a vital anchor point, but she often spent time away. When not travelling, she divided her time between Berry and Paris. Nohant remained a special place around which the writer's life was organised and where she liked to gather her close friends. The Nohant estate is inextricably linked to its former occupant, George Sand. Everywhere there are physical signs left by the writer, but it is the special atmosphere that reigns in the house that has the greatest impact on the visitor. The house was rebuilt in the 18th century on the ruins of a medieval manor house, a classical residence. It is located, as she herself says, on the edge of green fields with no more pretension than a village house. The ground floor, the hall through which you enter the house, is decorated in pastel shades, the work of Maurice, George Sand's son. The kitchen is the vital centre of the house. A very active woman with many interests, George Sand liked to spend her time in this room. It is furnished in a rustic style and has on display a large collection of copperware and pottery from the Berry region. The staircase leads to the cook's bedroom. The dining room is where George Sand's guests would meet. A table is laid there. At precisely 5 o'clock the bell would ring to invite family and friends to dinner. A chandelier made of Venetian glass would throw light on its distinguished guests. The porcelain plates from the Creole Montereau factory were especially chosen by George Sand. In the living room, evenings would be spent playing games or watching a puppet show. Portraits of George Sand's ancestors and descendants adorn the walls. There are some remarkable pieces of furniture, for instance, the oval table made by the village carpenter and filing cabinet which belonged to George Sand's grandfather. A chiffonier is a tall, narrow chest of drawers. A Pleyel piano and Louis armchairs. Bedroom of Roi de Saxe, George Sand's grandmother, has been furnished in the style of the 18th century. In the adjacent boudoir, George Sand later set up her writing study, disguised in a tiny cupboard. This is where she wrote her first novels. The 2 theatres close to the bedroom are reached by the corridor. Maurice and the painter Eugene Lambert introduced the puppet theatre to Nohant. The first puppet theatre was improvised in the lounge from 2 chairs, a towel and a covered piece of wood. These early theatrical experiments were described in detail in a novel written in 1847, La Château le Désert, The Castle in the Wilderness. Sand later converted a ground floor room into a theatre for puppet shows and live actors. Here she was able to try out her plays before having them performed in Paris. The main staircase at the end of the corridor leads to the upper floor. A central corridor divides George Sand's apartments from the bedrooms used by her guests. On the landing, a padded door insulated the room where Chopin composed his music. The bedroom, known as the Blue Room, furnished in the Louis style, was occupied by George Sand in the end of her life. It is here that she died on the 8th of June 1876. The study adjoining the library was used as Chopin's room, where he stayed at Nohant every summer from 1839 to 1846. Sand had it partitioned after their relationship ended. In the study, the novelist devoted herself to her work. Here she wrote during the day and after everyone in the house had gone to sleep until the early hours of the morning. The bedroom of Roi Sand is the biggest in the house. The decor restored in 1998 with its bamboo furniture in Art Deco style. George Sand's granddaughter lived there until her death in 1961. She bequeathed the house to the state in 1952. Wind is not good, but we try. The possibility, the low est froid. It's,
don't like?
no, they don't. It's like they throw it. Oh, bon, c'est le poisson là. Oui, il touche. There.
Ah.
You have a good carp. Yes. Yeah, oui, c'est bon ça. Un doigt, ici. Two doigts. Don't wind. Finish. Just bring here to the net. Up, up, up. Yeah, we have it. Ton premier poisson, un carpe. C'est bien, hein? C'est bon ça. No, c'est carpe. You have your first carp, content. C'est bien. Un bon guerre. It's a good fish, yeah.
Oh yes, it's a big surprise. It's my first fish.
So we put the fish back. It's your first one, it's good. And away it goes. Partir. C'est un petit bass là, oui. Regarde, attention ici. Vous avez un bass, un petit bass, je pense. Là. Oui, c'est bon. Super, oui, c'est bien. Ok, good. The bass. The premier bass, look, c'est bien.
Oh oui, dis donc. Et le mien là, il est où là?
I know, because you have to go. So you caught your first bass, good?
Yes.
You put this one back, it's not.
Very pleased.
Put this one back, yes.
But I'm so pleased because it's going again in the lane.
Good, yes, it's a good poisson, but you have to watch the branch, difficult. Okay, good, yes. So the net, up, lift. Oh, it's a carp encore, bien. Okay, good, excellent. That's good. Now you have an expert. Another carp. It's good, beautiful carp.
Hello.
You have had your second carp.
Yes.
Carp encore.
Yes.
It's very good for you, your first day.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Good remembrance.
So even now, in this short space of time, the colours have increased. Told that this is a very special and rare fern, Osmond Royal, and it's protected here just down by the Money Bridge. Maintenant, je film. We have a film of my two new friends from Australia and from France. His copine. And so you explain, you introduce yourselves please.
Je m'appelle Paul. I'm Paul from Australia, from Brisbane, with my friend Mireille.
Yes.
Denise.
Je m'appelle Mireille et je viens de Nice, French Riviera.
Santé.
Yeah. Enchanté.
Les adore
À votre santé.
les crevettes.
Cheese?
Cheese.
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 Yeah,
Or
she's like
good
cheese.
health.
Ah, yes.
Santé.
So you come to visit just for the day, a
Yeah,
long
we
way.
just came to visit you to see your
Area.
your lovely area.
Because you're a YouTube watcher, you're a subscriber.
Oh,
This is
yes,
how you saw me, how you met me.
I saw you on YouTube a long time ago when you first bought this place, and I watched all your videos about the renovation of this place, etc., as well as some of your videos of painting. I like painting myself.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing painting.
So you should come here for a lesson next year. You can.
Possible. It's possible.
Vous êtes bienvenue là-dedans pour les vacances ici.
Oui.
Tu peinture aussi.
My wife passed away 3 years ago, and I stopped painting at the time and took up language learning.
Right.
French being the premier one, and through
Oui, je vois.
through my language, through the language learning process, we made a connection on one of the multi-language exchange websites. And
Le crevette là, le sauce, pour l'entrée avant. C'est le tomate de Marjardin, c'est le concombre de Marjardin. Le crevette est pas de Marjardin.
Jardin, concombre.
Oui, si.
Jardin.
Le pain de la région.
Oh là là.
Sauce de moi, la crèche de moi. J'espère bien. Ok.
Super. Très bien, Peter. Merci beaucoup.
And I called it Paul's
De
Pen.
film?
Oui, ça c'est magnifique. C'est good, c'est just.
Yeah, I've
C'est bien,
got.
le flaveur est belle, non? Petit service.
I have a website called Paul's Pen. I've got a website called Paul's Pen and Paint
Right.
at Gmail. If
Paul.
you, merci monsieur.
Peter.
If you,
Oui, c'est bien, vous êtes ici. Bon.
Oui. Mais c'est très agréable, hein?
Oui.
Oh,
Oui.
magnifique.
Well, I dragged out the old barbecue that the previous owner left behind, tidied it up, got it working, and tonight we're going to be having a barbecue with just a few friends at the end of season. I've prepared some sausages, sweet corn from the garden, and a load of brochettes ready here with garden produce, prawns and steak, which should be good for tonight. And we can have a few chips with it. And I know that they're going to bring pulled pork and other things like that, so we should have a good feast. That naughty pussycat that was eating my kebabs yesterday from the kitchen, tried to steal them for the barbecue. You're a scruff cat, aren't you?
We California dreaming, California dreaming, such a winter's day. I stepped into a church,
Obviously the barbecue goes well.
I passed along the way. And I got down on my knees, I began to pray. I began.
Trump the Lloyd. She rolled the sections.
24.
Kilo, yes. She rolled.
Les boudins, would you like some boudin? But I am able to understand, you will enjoy.
Joli là. Bon tableau. Le recette de la bonne mère, c'est la coque de vin. It's interesting, but the price of this last set, looking at 67 euros for a little piece here. $343 just reduced for that dish. We're now visiting the pottery of BERNARDAUD just to see what it's like. Unfortunately, you have to book for the museum, but just an idea of prices and what they produce. So, for instance, this large pot here is 269 euros for this little coffee cups here. This one, 268 for 2 little coffee cups. And I think for me it was hard to get £8 for a mug, hand produced, that I used to make. It just is ridiculous, isn't it?
All the streets.
This is the river Vienne, in the Haute Vienne. Motif de Jacques de Compostelle, Marche de Compostelle. Mouse, we see a difference in price. A lovely piece of Limoges pottery here, 20 euros. Many pieces of pottery here, much cheaper. Of course, Limoges pottery here. We're at the River Eglan, and this is where Corot painted the man himself. I adore his paintings. You can see why Corot loved it here. Stand there for me. Marie-Louise stands by, and Marie. There's this lovely little house. Beautiful here. Absolutely every turn is a painting. Beautiful oak tree. Je pense. Beautiful light in here that Corot would have loved. So I'm here visiting Limoges and the area with Anne-Marie, and sometimes she is called Marie-Louise. She's very kindly invited me to stay and look at the area. And here we're at the place of Corot, where Corot painted. What is the river here?
La Glane.
And where?
Yes.
What's the village?
Saint-Julien.
Well, you told the camera?
Yes, it's Saint-Julien.
Saint-Julien, at the village of Saint-Julien, and there are lots of châtaigniers, lots of chestnuts here. You may go back and get a bag and get some more. She's very kind to invite me and show me these areas, and I've got some beautiful photographs to show you today. It's beautiful, what can you say? We are here at the site of Corot, and I'm in a wonderful pottery here. We're just going to take a look around now and show you the work. The owner is here to explain.
Good, thank you for coming to see us. This is a porcelain factory, and right now we are in the factory shop.
Because Limoges is famous for porcelain.
For porcelain.
So, yes.
Porcelain was reinvented, if I can say like that, in Limoges in 1771, after the discovery of the famous kaolin, which is this very white clay that we use for porcelain. We were seeking everywhere in Europe for kaolin, and they found a little bit of kaolin near Limoges. And thanks to water and wood, a new industry was born.
How long have you been here?
33 years.
Oh, it's good. Well established, yes.
We first had a factory making the white, because in a porcelain factory we have two factories in one. We first make the white, we fire it, and then we make decoration, and we again fire the decor in special kilns.
And the name of your pottery here?
It's a seed Corot. We gave
It's a seed Corot. So the same name as the pottery, yes?
Same name because close by is the famous seed Corot, where Corot the painter came in 1854, and in order to honor the memory of Corot, people have given the name to the place here.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We take a look, and I show them the videos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Monsieur.
You're welcome. Cobalt blue enamel, which is we dip the pieces in this blue enamel, and afterward we decorate with, most of the time, with gold and old-fashioned design. Particularly when we are talking about white porcelain, we see in fact the whiteness of the body. The glaze is transparent, and when we come to the bleu de four, the glaze is blue, and the glaze, the body, as you can see, the foot here, the body is the same white body for limited series. But once
you export much abroad?
Oh yeah, we export 90% of what we make.
To which countries in particular? America?
Mainly United States and Japan and Middle East. Like Qatar, Abu Dhabi, even Egypt.
Yes.
My
Yes, it is.
doesn't bring anything.
No.
It's like the Catalan kilometers from Barcelona.
These nice country scenes.
All together.
I like these very much.
Common rules and
Yeah, would be interesting. Friendship.
yes, this we have. Thanks to you. Fiscal rules. We should have the same. These people in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Cette classe en valeur, les fameuses Limoges boxes ainsi que les bijoux sont pas à la même time. Fall, Halloween, Christmas, winter games, and then hobbies, gardening, travel, and travel all the famous monuments all over the world. We made them.
Okay.
All the work that we can possibly imagine, whether it's lawyers or furniture makers, or watch, or everything, cars. And during a certain period, I would say during the 80s and the 90s, a factory like mine, we were creating 200 new boxes a year.
200 a year?
Which is almost one.
How long ago did this start, these American ladies?
They started to collect in 1960 something.
And which is the original?
The first one?
That I don't even know, but originally they were simple shapes, round or oval.
Like this had originally.
And old-fashioned 18th century, like that, you know, with little flowers, cherry trees. And we have,
Your latest.
believe me or not, we have 8,000 models.
Incroyable.
In United States and Japan. And Japan. Japan carry jars.
Jars?
We're just looking at a brocante on the way back. Most of it's modern, but there's some interesting pieces nonetheless. Tonight we've been looking for a few more mushrooms and more chestnut chitanias to take back with me, and I've got enough here now to dry. My grapes, my new dish from Limoges, and the tomatoes from the greenhouse, getting to the last of them, and these lovely succulent little yellow ones. Tonight for tea we found some more champignon, the wood mushrooms, field mushroom and some ceps, and I've made this old favourite of mine, tomato and minestrone soup. Very simple recipe but excellent. Jean-Pierre's birthday, and I've invited him round then to dinner. We went over to his place, but decided instead they'd like to come round here, he and my neighbour, so I've just done this ready for him, and I hope we have a nice time with some roast chicken and mashed potato. Simple meal tonight. But I'm making a slow casserole for tomorrow with the local champignon. Well, we're almost finished with the garden now. Just dug it over and prepared a little of it for next year, so that at least some of the weeds will be kept down. We had a beautiful showing of these marigolds though this autumn. They've suddenly come up with the wet because it's been just so dry. You see I've got that all dug over now, but these lovely marigolds. And then the same over here. I've managed to dig all of this over, and you can see that the everlasting spinach and the chard is coming up really well. So I've some of that before I go, because I know it'll be giant by next year. And the marigolds at the back in the main flower bed. And then of course we've harvested all the rest of what's left in the garden, just about. We've got a nice selection of cabbages and leeks. And I've dug all this bit of garden over, so that's it. We should be going home. This time next week we'll be preparing, ready to go. All been cut down now and prepared. And it'll all be growing over by the time I get back again next year, but at least it's almost ready, and I put horse manure into that this year, so that'll be good next year. Here we are at the Pont de Vauville, just down below Fresselines on a misty morning, and we're just off carp fishing now to La Brouée. And so we continue on our journey to the lake, and the sun is now rising and the mist is coming up and disappearing beautifully. Well, I'm about to try and do two paintings of the autumn colours. As you see here, it's looking very pretty now. And I'm going to just take a little ride in the car and see if I can find a few views that might suit us. wooden bridge, or the money bridge as some call it. And we'll see if we can find some views down here. Unfortunately no sunshine right now. See, Agnes is down here painting already. It's good. So they offered me a glass of wine, vin rouge, c'est bien, c'est gentil. Eh? Now we're saying how lovely the light has suddenly become. It's okay, c'est bien. I finished my glass of wine and the biscuit, and they continued painting. Demonstration maintenant, s'il vous plaît. So my friends paint there, and I'm going to look for a view further down the river. The sun is now shining quite nicely, so we'll see what we can find. Beautiful when the sun is out. Such a difference. We can't do photographs or really paint well without the sunlight, I feel, in a landscape. Of course, all the champignons are out now. Beautiful sunlit areas as we walk through this autumn scene. Just look at the way the light shines on these bits of foam on the water. And the way one colour stands out in front of another. I mean, this is a beautiful example here with these leaves, almost in 3 dimensions, standing one in front of the other here. Beautiful scenes as the sun comes through these trees and down onto the water. All these leaves floating by in the sunlight. Such beautiful scenes to paint. And some lovely reflections. Well, the light has not quite reached here yet. A little bit higher and it'll stream through these trees, so this might be a better place to paint in the evening. What a lovely place to be, don't you think? And we'll just look forward and look around this spot, because as you can see there are so many places we could paint. Even just from here, this view. This view, maybe this view, and maybe this view. They're all possible. This beautiful specimen here. Hello? Bonjour. Ok, je cuisine en vite maintenant, 10 minutes. Got the 4x4 and we're going to try and get these logs to carve the owl up to here and put them in this corner. The quality of these lovely big old French oaks. Beautiful trees. My oak has come from within this mess here. You can see where he's very kindly sliced pieces out for me over there and dragged them across. Magnificent. Let's hope I can do it justice. I've got to come down this track and up into my lawn from here. Took some doing. We had to do about 20 turns to get it round that corner, but marvellous. this way if you can.
Give it the big heave ho, because we'll only have to push it back.
That's right. That's alright, you can roll that back.
Half of it good. It's off the pack.
Is it good? That's alright then. There we go then. Perfect.